Rowan Fielding, played by Alexandra Daddario, goes from being a neurosurgeon to becoming a formidable sorceress in the Mayfair family in the television series. Rowan always understood as a child that she was unique from everyone else. She held supernatural powers that had the potential to seriously harm or even take lives. Keith runs through the woods at the beginning of Mayfair Witches, Season 1, Episode 8, in an effort to get away. In spite of being wounded and bleeding, Rowan is still following him. I honestly believe that Rowan had summoned Lasher in order to test his ability to raise Tessa from the grave. No, she's simply furious and prepared to set them on fire. Rowan uses Lasher to set fire to medical examiner Keith's wooden hiding place after being thoroughly Lasher-pilled by Tessa's death. Although she is clearly capable of carrying out the murder herself, doing so would undermine our already strained narrative purpose. She's also worn out from chasing Keith through the forests. After finally collapsing on the forest floor from exhaustion, despair, and a gunshot wound, she immediately welcomes Lasher into her head to have a look around. Recall how she ignored Tessa a day or so ago, because she was preoccupied with attempting to clear Lasher from her mind. Suzanne's home is the first stop on Lasher's enchanted mystery tour of the psyche. He cryptically states, in the most husky voice possible, where it all started. Because books are for nerds, Suzanne carved all of her knowledge into the walls in the form of magic runes that, when Rowan brushes them, instantly transmit their meaning to her consciousness, negating the need for any inconvenient and time-consuming studying. Rowan is so excited about the other magical abilities of the markings, such as their ability to repair gunshot wounds, that she and Lasher crash into the bed of her 12-time great-grandmother. I imagine Susan had a lot of significant writing on her walls, but right now, we're only interested in one of those things: the prediction. The 13th witch will be the door, which we literally translate as sacred vessel, a sacred container for a brand new, all-powerful baby Lasher, according to the prophecy. I admire equality. However, nothing in the context clues seems to indicate that we should see this change negatively. However, it is obvious that Uncle Cortland is wicked, so at least that issue has at least partially been resolved. And miracle of miracles, Cyprian is the one who discovers the entire gruesome reality. The power to erase is Big Boss's gift, which Cyprian learns as they shake hands. This sets in motion a series of small epiphanies as follows. If Big Boss has the eraser power, then Big Boss must have been the one to erase the elevator, a favor for an ally. This leads Cyprian to believe that Cortland hired the hitman to kill Deirdre, and the only reason to kill Deirdre would be to Cyprian claims that without him, the prophecy won't come true, which is not accurate but still acceptable. Sip is currently having a great day. Sip is given leave to dash to the Mayfair house, where he discovers Jojo vaping downcastly in her stunning pantsuit on the back porch. She opens the door for Rowan and directs him to the office, where the Mayfairs store all of their most significant historical family heirlooms and mementos of their terrible deeds. Okay. Joe gives Cyprian just enough time to touch everything in the room, including a Mardi Gras mask from the night Deirdre became pregnant, proving to him that Cortland, not Carlotta, was responsible for the teen's murder, as well as the fact that Cortland had sexually assaulted and impregnated Deirdre that night. Cortland is therefore both the real father of Rowan and a complete monster. How come he did this? I have no idea. But contrary to what you might expect, Jojo is not as shocked by all of this extremely upsetting knowledge. When Sip informs her that her father is a murderer and incestuous rapist, she responds, "Oh yes, actually that tracks. Let's use your clairvoyant abilities on more things." She leads Cyprian to the family's magic bum doll. These people are really bad at keeping secrets, where he has a vision of a woman asking the heavens to clarify the whole prophecy thing while speaking in a perplexing accent. Lasher appears and whispers in her ear that at the witching hour, over the bones of the foremothers, I will embody a form with power that has never been seen before. Tell me of the prophecies that started when Ormoser Suzanne first bound herself to Haim. The entryway is the 13th witch, exclaimed Jojo and Sip. Sacred vessel. All at once, followed by a high five. You get the concept, but not really. They know they're in a hurry when Dolly Jane says, Lasher's ripening is measured in hours, not months, which is another reason she's at the house. Now, Cyprian's main strategy is to track down Rowan and abduct her infant. His big bad Talamasca boss thinks this is a wonderful idea, just boyfriend things, and is currently finishing up causing magic brain damage to Odette, his postpartum sister. In reality, Big Boss chooses to kidnap Odette as well in order to use her as a wet nurse for her kidnapped nephew, since she is conveniently both lactating and unconscious. Thomas Jefferson is receiving it. You might be wondering at this moment how closely any of this relates to what we've seen in the prior episodes up to this point. It doesn't, and is irrelevant. Return to Rowan through a succession of tableaus that each depict a different generation of Mayfair designees pointing to a clock. Lasher has taken Rowan on a postcoital funhouse journey. He instructs her in a ghostly voiceover, "Meet me at the witching hour." But this is unhelpful and doesn't explain why her pregnant abdomen balloons inconveniently every few hours. Lasher's gestation period is 9 hours, not 9 months, as someone failed to inform Rowan. And as a result, she awakens just as labor is about to begin. What the heck? I don't really mean that. Because Cortland was driving out to the woods to pick up Rowan's body and bring her to the family crypt, where there is an altar, very normal, which serves as a birthing bed complete with marble pillow, while Rowan's consciousness was visiting waxwork figures of designees past. Cortland has dressed his daughter niece in the astral projection Rowan has been wearing ever since she slipped into it after sex with Lasher. How? The remarkably well-preserved 17th century nightie Susan was almost accused of being a witch for this ritualistic nightmare. Before Rowan can say, "My body, my decision," Ghost Suzanne and the labor pains have already materialized. Maybe it's witching hour. The apparition of Susan has come to use her midwifery skills to assist Rowan in giving birth to her demon baby while Cortland watches from the shadows. But when baby Lasher is born and his visage starts to change as he ages quickly like Renesmee from Twilight, I did laugh aloud. Fearful Rowan jumps off her altar and attempts to flee, but her infant, who is now crawling, is chasing her. The crypt is crypt size on the outside and Notre Dame size on the inside. How did baby Lasher suddenly acquire a diaper? When evil Uncle Dad Cortland suddenly appears, Rowan seems to be torn between whether she finds baby Lasher adorable or terrifying. Although it's still not clear how precisely Cortland would gain access to Lasher's power, Rowan realizes that he was only after it for himself all along. Does he simply need to gather up the child? Is it similar to receiving Jesus Christ as your master and savior? Is there an enchantment of some kind? But it doesn't really matter because Rowan chooses to take baby Lasher into his arms before Cortland can approach him. Rowan can now transform Cortland into stone with her eyes because he is still smirking and smarming, which irritates her. Sip, who is infamous for showing up just 5 minutes late, pulls up as Rowan is leaving the mausoleum holding her now toddler-aged boy on her hip. She speaks to Cyprian in a tone that I most closely identify with lobotomy patients. "This is my son," he clarifies, "our kid." When Rowan discovers that her partner is attempting to steal her child, she is about to leave for the Mayfair house. She then flings lightning bolts out of her eyeballs to fling him away. Rowan will boldly enter a new realm of power in Season 2, which AMC has already ordered with the prophecy fulfilled. Johnson and Mayfair Witches co-creators Esta Spalding and Michelle Ashford spoke about Rowan's understanding of motherhood, whether the now fulfilled prophecy will necessitate recasting Lasher, and what it all means for the immortal universe as the immortal universe starts to take shape.